do, everybody? It's your boy Prince Elias of Creative Reptiles for another episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. Another great episode. Sorry, I was a few minutes late or a few seconds late, really. Um, I was in the middle of making my eggs and toast and coffee. I woke up late. Sorry, woke up late, so I'm behind schedule. But anyways, glad to have y'all here. Before we begin, let's shout out our wonderful sponsors. This episode and every episode is brought to you by Mutation Station, Lucy Land Ball Pythons, and Candy Lady Creations, y'all. Let me say, I've always said Mutation Station and Lucy Land have the best feeders in Memphis. Argue with your mama, but they also have some of the best genetics project snakes that they're breeding, and they cooking up some heat. They're cooking up some heat. They're acquiring some heat. They done bought some heat. It's gonna be amazing. And then Candy Lady Creations, Candy, you know, that's the homie. That's the baby mama. That's that's the one of fifth of the Wild Bunch slash Shenanigans for Beyond the Skills podcast. Well, no, we got Bear now, so 1/6 of the crew. And the merch that we got cooking and coming. Chef's Kiss is amazing. I'm so excited. There's some hats coming in. I can't wait to show y'all. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. So if you need merch, t-shirts, hats, mugs, tumblers, wine glasses, anything custom made with your logo or whatever, hit up Candy at Candy Lady Creations. Um, so shout out to all my sponsors of the podcast. I really do appreciate y'all supporting Snake Cinema Podcast and the channel in general. Any life updates and news? I'm going to attempt this week to not wear my boot because I really feel like my ankle has healed. We will see. But I'm not going to give up the boot 100%. If I got to stand up for hours to teach, that boot might be in the corner just in case I need it. But we're going to go without the boot this week. Also, the animals are doing good. They're eating well, getting big, um, and just super excited. I think this fall one of my females will be ready to go. So we might get a clutch 2024/2025. We'll see. Because some of these females that I didn't think are gonna go, they are packing on their weight. Them ASL so hitting it. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully Raja or Tiana will be ready. All right. So I just got a couple of topics. We're still going to touch on music this week, and we will talk movies next week because I did see that Joker 2 trailer that dropped with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. And I have some thoughts. But that will be next week's episode. And there's two movies in the theater for sure that I need to go see. One is the first Omen, the horror film, and the other one looks like it's going to be action drama, maybe slightly horror. Civil War, about some photojournalists that get caught up in a civil war here in America. And it looks like they're talking about the stuff we're talking about now, via race relations and things like that. So it looks interesting. It does look interesting. So hopefully this weekend or sometime this week, I'll have time to run to the theater to watch those and report back to y'all. So that's on the docket for next weekend's show. But right now, we're going to continue on music. Last week, we touched on it a bit with Maki. And we were doing the Beyonce review and stuff. We touched on the big three beef with three of the best rappers today. Don't argue with me, all you old heads, old school heads. We are not talking about the Jay-Z's and Lil Wayne's. I'm talking about this generation. These are the top three: J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick. And the aftermath of everything that's transpired since that Future Metro Boomin album, with the diss track and all that other stuff. So I do want to touch on that a little bit deeper because we didn't really touch on it that much last week's episode. We kind of rushed through that. Um, but before we do that, let me talk to the chitty chit chat. What up, everybody? What up? Ah, Banner, my niece Banner. What up? Good morning. You're first. What, Wiz? Woo, 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 woo. Caw. What up, Wiz? Good morning. C. Jones. What up, Baby Jones? Being 3 seconds later, to say, I know, right? Usually I start the countdown before the minute is up. I had to make my food. I was hungry. What up? What up? Waking up at the state of I know. Oh my gosh. That's why I'm late. I stayed up even though I wasn't active in the chats yesterday because I was so busy. When I got home, I just laid down and watched Hair Down. And once KG and Levance hop on, ain't no point of logging off and going to bed. So yeah, I was dragging my feet this morning when my alarm went off. I was like, can I cancel today's podcast? No, I cannot. I'm trying to be consistent. Trying to be consistent. Going by C dot for the rest of my life. I C dot. What Rooster Prophecy? What up? Happy belated birthday. His birthday was yesterday, and we got our birthday boy today. Jesus. What up, Jesus? Mr. Pew Pew. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday to both of y'all. Tommy was good. Did so bad. You gotta say so. We gonna talk about that. See, Jones, we're gonna talk about that. Let's see. Drake isn't a bad artist, but I don't know why he's so big. I know why. Um, because he dropped some amazing classic albums early on in his career, and ain't nobody gonna let go of that. So he can drop all these duds and mids now, and nobody cares because they still thinking about Take Care. And if you're reading this is too late. And what was the other one? Dang, I don't forgot that fast. But yeah. Co apologize is not a good look at all. Look and see. I do. Wiz is gonna say that. Wiz is from that generation, that cloth of when you battle, even if you lose the battle, you don't back down. He for like that Jay-Z versus Nas and Tupac versus Big. When you had war, you had battle, you do not apologize. You say the roughest and meanest stuff to each other. And y'all might piece it up and be cool years later, but you said what you said. And the record still stands. Prophet, of course, leave it to Rooster to say something off the wall. Mike Jones, I'm through. I'm through. uh Bosa brother, thank you for tapping in. The ambassador. Bosa know everybody birthdays before everybody know. Shout out to Bosa, our ambassador. Brian, thank you. Tommy for tapping in. I'm sorry I missed your comment, Tommy. Thank you for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right. So before we get into the hip hop topic, because I feel like I'm gonna go on. No, let's do the hip hop topic first. Because I feel like both subjects I want to talk about, I'm gonna end up going on a rant. Let's do the hip hop topic first. And excuse me while I eat these eggs because I don't like cold eggs. So so for those who are living under a rock and don't know much about the big three and this whole beef and this scandal. It's not even a scandal, but hip hop has been in the uproar. Hip hop has been going through it emotionally. um, it started off with Future and Metro Boomin dropping an album, and y'all, like I told y'all last week, I've never been a big Future fan. Did not care for Future, so and the only reason why I even listened to that album was so I could come back and review it for this show. So that was the only reason why I even gave him my time of day. Because usually I never listen to Future. I'm not a big fan of his voice, his cadence, the way he rap, his style. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. And so But I was like, you know what? Even if I listen to the album and I come and talk trash on it on the podcast, at least it'll make a great entertainment show. So I listened to it. Come to find out, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty decent. I think I gave it what, a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. So that says something for someone who doesn't like Future to actually give him a high score for that record, but for that album. But the particular record that everybody's been going crazy over is Like That featuring Kendrick Lamar. And because Kendrick Lamar went ham and pretty much said there is no big three, I am the king. Forget Cole and Drake. That's basically the Cliff Notes version of that verse. Um, Everybody went crazy. I was like, dang, we know him and Drake has been having issues and throwing subs at each other over the years. They've been doing that for a while now, ever since Kendrick dropped that Control verse with Big Sean. So we knew that Kendrick and Drake didn't really care about each other, you know, because they've been throwing subs here or there. But dang, why Cole had to catch a straight? You know what I'm saying? And so because everybody thought, at least Cole was like the middleman. He was peaceful with everybody. At least that was the optics at first. And so everybody's like, oh, when Drake gonna respond, when Cole gonna respond, yada yada yada. And then last weekend, Cole dropped his mixtape or LP or whatever, might delete later. And at the end, he added 7 minute drill. Now some people said that this was weak. I enjoyed it, but then again, my taste in when it comes to hip hop, I when it comes to hip hop and rap, I guess my taste is very different because I'm not of that cloth. I'm not that ilk. I can admit when a rapper is good, but at the same time, I could also like some stuff that everybody else hates, the majority of hate. And that's cool. That's art is subjective. So I didn't see no issue with it. And I kind of thought his shots were pretty good in my opinion because yeah, when he said that one album was tragic, I kind of agree. Kendrick Lamar, as great as he is, as amazing as he is, he, To Pimp a Butterfly was tragic to me. I'm sorry. It was. The only song I liked from there was King Kunta. That was it. Oh, and All Right. Two songs, King Kunta and All Right. Those are the only songs I listened to from that entire album. I don't touch To Pimp a Butterfly. I I think it was great for the moment it came out of. It was the height of, Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff. And it became the soundtrack of 2020 with George Floyd and it was just perfect timing to when that album dropped and everything that happened after that album dropped. But yeah, it's my least favorite out of the Kendrick Lamar catalog. And I know some people are gonna hate me for it, but when Cole said that, whether he believed it himself or not, I agreed. I was like, yeah, that the album was tragic to me, but I digress. So I didn't have no issues with J. Cole's diss track, but I can see why people had issues because they said he didn't go hard enough. They wanted an ether style type diss, which I can understand. Um, and then it wasn't even 24 hours. I think it was the next day. They had the Dreamville concert, Dreamville Fest, and Cole came out and apologized, said there was never him. He never wanted to go that route, but he felt pressure to go that route and to respond. And it never sat right with him because he is a Kendrick Lamar fan. He loves Kendrick. And and I get that. I get that. But let's talk about hip hop and culture. Let's be honest. Hip hop and culture is toxic. They like bloodbaths. They like wars. Um, they like the gangster beef, throwing shots. That's always been the culture since day one. Yes, we do love the hip to the hip hop, and we love the conscious rap. We love all that, but at its core, hip hop is a violent a genre. But so is country. Um, Piggyback off last weekend because country, I've been tapping into country now since Beyonce's album just so I could defend it more in a way and defend my love for that album because some people are like, you only like it because it's Beyonce, you don't listen to country. So I've been listening more country. And when I tell y'all, there's a lot of murder and shoot 'em and I'm gonna kill you. You broke up with me. You broke up with me. You broke my heart. So I'm gonna kill you and your new girlfriend type lyrics in country. Country is just as violent and crazy as hip hop, but you unlike country, you don't see Tim McGraw throwing shots at Morgan Wallen. It took me a while to think of a name because I really don't listen to that genre like that. You don't hear them throwing shots at each other saying, "Oh, I'm the best country singer. F you, you ain't shit. F your fans," like that. So hip hop at its core has always been a let's spar. I'm the better rapper. I'm the tough one. I'm the big guy in charge. And so a lot of people was disappointed in Cole with that apology. And in a way, I kind of am too. Like in a way, I get it. I'm all for that's not who I am. I'm not a battle rapper. I'm not Alpha Blood. I really like this guy. I really like his music. So I'm not finna go hard on him. But in my mind, if that's how you really felt, then forget what your friends say, forget what your label say, forget what the streets say. Just never record 7 minute drill. Just never make that song. Or make that song to get your thoughts and feelings and emotions out, but don't release it. Just don't release it. Because if you really felt that way in your core that it just doesn't sit right with you to diss Kendrick, then never, then you should not even put it out there in the public. Because now the optics to everybody is, oh, he's only apologizing because the fans didn't like it. He's only apologizing because it was me. And he's only apologizing because it didn't get the reception. That's the optics, whether that's his um thought process or not, whether that was his reason for apologizing or not. That's the that's the optics. That's the outside looking in. That's how the fans felt like, oh, you're only apologizing because your diss record to him, your response to him was not as good as everybody hoped. Now you're trying to piggyback. Um, and so yeah, hip hop, the culture, rap has been in the shambles. There are hip hop personalities, podcasters fighting each other over this whole thing because one is real mad at J. Cole and the other podcaster is like, I get where he's coming from and I think it's very mature that he did what he did. And now they're all beefing on Twitter and it's weird. It feels like hip hop is having an identity crisis, especially with the media. Like they're like this whole back and forth between Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake got everybody in the shims because they don't know what to think. They like, oh my gosh, this has never happened. A rapper, two rapper. That's like, what are infamous beefs? That's like if 50 Cent, after all these years of dissing Ja Rule, would have came out and apologized and said, you know what, I've been a big fan of Ja Rule. I love Ja Rule. And it don't sit right in my spirit and I never want to fight him again. And I'm not gonna diss him anymore. That would I think hip hop would die that day, honestly. Or Eminem. I think yeah, because I see y'all in the chat. Eminem. Look at all the beefs Eminem was a part of. I mean, Eminem came out swinging in the beginning of his career, where he was beefing with not only other rappers, he was beefing with not Little John, Elton John. He was beefing with Britney Spears. Like he was beefing with so many people. Mariah Carey. He was beefing with hip hop people and non hip hop people. And that's like if he came out and said, you know what, I'm sorry for. I mean, he did apologize to Elton John because they cool now. They pieced it up, but that's just like him coming out saying, you know what, all that stuff I said about this rapper, that rapper, all that stuff I said about, the Joe Buttons of the world, all the other rappers that has ever dissed me, and I diss back and I fire back Benzino and them, that's like him coming back and apologize, saying, you know what, I've been a real big fan of theirs, and it just didn't sit right in my spirit, and I'm sorry for all the records I made dissing them. You know what I'm saying? That will I think hip hop would die that day. And that's just the culture we built around this genre. It's just that when you're in battle of words, not gang battles, not Biggie, Tupac, my people kill your people, vice versa, stuff like that. Not that, but battle of words, battle of lyrics, battle of songwriting ability, skill sets. I could whoop de whoop pull some big words out of the encyclopedia and make you seem like a kindergarten teacher instead of a scholar, a college scholar. You know, that is hip hop. That is what we've grown accustomed to. That is what we love. And so for someone to back out of that, it it did hurt some feelings. It didn't hurt my feelings, but it did hurt some feelings in the hip hop world, fans and other rappers alike. I'm so sorry. I'm so behind the chat. Let me see what y'all gotta say, cause I know all you hip hop heads. I really want to know y'all opinions. I don't want to just be me talking. So let's see. We said Drake decent, but in my era, we wrote our own. Wiz, let me tell you, Wiz, I agree. I agree. But Drake isn't the only one, and he hasn't been the only one. He was never the first. He just the first that got busted. Um, there have been ghostwriters and songwriters helping rappers for a long time. Drake just got caught and shown out in it. Cause wasn't it NWA? Ice Cube was writing all the Easy E stuff, something like that, writing his lyrics for him. There's always been ghostwriters in hip hop, but yeah, Drake, that's one big L on. That's one stain on his jersey. It's that whole he don't write all of his rhymes. He gets help. You're gonna diss, then diss. Don't apologize, no matter how bad it sucks. That's true. That's true. I do agree with that. Regardless of who the rapper is, regardless of how much I love them, I agree. I totally agree. If you lose, you just come back harder than before. No Diddy. Yes. Yes. Mm. Savannah, thanks for tapping in. Brian, I don't know if I said thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Thanks for tapping in. Ball Ross. Yes. Ball Ross. Our favorite Afrocentric high guy in West Tank Clan and the V Unit. What up? What up? What up? Cold eggs is the worst. Yes, it is. That's why I'm trying to hear every finish eating my little sandwich during this podcast. I'm sorry for smacking in y'all ear, but I don't like cold eggs. Kendrick is always number one undefeated. So far in this battle, yes, because it seems like J. Cole tried, but it's not him. He wants to be authentic to him. And Drake, I feel like at this point, Drake isn't gonna take direct shots. I think Drake is gonna continue doing the little baby subs that he's been doing, like saying all these niggas, all these rappers, but never actually saying Kendrick's name or saying, I don't think Drake is going to respond the way people want him to respond, or he probably not going to respond at all because Drake at this point is a global artist. He's a global pop star. He's no longer a hip hop. Like Drake does not belong to us. He has not belonged to us in a long time. So I think either it's just he gonna continue with the little subliminals, passive aggressive. That's what I'm trying to say, passive aggressive shots, or he's not gonna respond at all. He's gonna ignore because in his mind, whether y'all agree or not, in his mind, Kendrick is just a little man where he is the big dog because he's so global. Again, not my words, not what I think, not what you guys think, but it's the reality. Just like in shout out to Wiz and the Wiz Tank clan. Last week we talked a lot about hip hop and not just hip hop, but music in general. And of course, KG with his infamous rant saying how Taylor Swift is bigger than everybody and just run the numbers. Numbers don't lie. You know what? KG is right. I couldn't argue that. Numbers don't lie. And yes, on paper with the numbers, Taylor Swift beats everybody. Well, when it comes to hip hop, as much as everybody can say Kendrick is the best, Kendrick is the best. He's king. He's number one. He's undefeated. When it comes to the numbers, Drake is the king. He is number one. He is undefeated because he is so global. So whether we agree with that or not, those are the facts. And we can't argue that. Just like I can't argue that Taylor Swift is number one right now. When you look at the numbers, those are the facts, whether I agree or not. Now, is she the most talented? Hell no. She is number one of being mediocre. She is not, she's good. She's a great songwriter. You know, I always big one thing I can say is Taylor Swift, my favorite album from hers is that folk album that she dropped, what, a year or so ago, 2 years ago. It was Evermore, and then it was the one before that. Those two, those folk albums where she's just with her guitar singing, and you know her lyrics, her pen game is unmatched. But as a artist, when I think of an actual talent, I'm thinking of the Michaels, the Beyoncés, the Princes, the Tina Turners. Taylor Swift don't got that. She's mediocre as fuck. But numbers don't lie. I cannot deny numbers don't lie. She had the best tour, the best movie, documentary, whatever that was in theaters and now on Disney Plus. The best, she got the best fans. She made all the money in the world with her merch game. Like Taylor Swift is that girl if we're going by numbers, and that is Drake right now. So Drake is not, I don't think Drake is going to respond the way people want him to respond. He's not going to pull a Jay-Z Nas. He's not going to pull a Ice Cube versus NWA when they broke up. He's not going to pull a hell, he's not going to pull Nicki Minaj versus Cardi or whatever. He's not going to do that. He's going to continue to throw little shots. Also, speaking of which, I really lost my, if he doesn't respond at all, like head on, talking crap to Kendrick in a record, like specifically to Kendrick, not making it general, like these niggas or these rap. No, to Kendrick. If he does not do that, I will officially have lost all respect for Drake, and he will no longer be a part of the big three in my eyes because he has so much energy, so much vitriol, so much things to say with Meg the Stallion because he's trying to stick up for Tory Lanez. And he has so much crap for all these other female rappers that he's been throwing shots at and dissing because he's trying to stick up for his girl Nicki and ride with his girl Nicki Minaj. So he tries to attack all these female rappers, but he's afraid to spar with Kendrick. To me, I doubt he's going to do it, but if he does not respond directly to Kendrick and actually diss him the aggressive way, not the passive aggressive way, then Drake is a weak, pathetic of a man because how you going to attack Meg and say that she didn't get shot and you throw all these subs and you throw all these multiple diss tracks. It wasn't just one. He did multiple. He did one song for her loss and then he did another one. I forgot. He didn't drop so many records. I don't forgot. The most recent one for the dogs and stuff like that. But You're Afraid of Kendrick Lamar. That's little dick energy. That's weak man energy. That's punk energy to me. Just like in real life, I don't respect men who can easily hit women, punch women, beat up their girlfriends, beat up their exes, beat up their baby mamas, attack them, whether verbally or physically, but scared to fight a man in the streets, scared to throw a punch with a real man. That's Drake to me, in my eyes. And he will be out of that big three conversation for me if he's too weak to go after Kendrick. And that's, y'all can agree with me, y'all can disagree with me, but that's how I feel. Let's see. Future hits when it's 3 a.m. and you want to feel gangster. Even Future, as much as I don't care about Future as a rapper, he he has better discs and shots than some of these guys, especially Drake. Hip hop is going through a full emo phase. It started with Triple X, Uzi, Juice, and made it full circle. Mofos and sensitive. Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. Now, as someone who is clinically diagnosed depressed and has gone through many, many years of therapy, I will say XXX and Uzi's music has been more relatable for me and has helped me a lot, but it did shift the hip hop culture. Whether you think it's good or bad, the emo phase has shifted and changed the hip hop culture as a whole. I'm not saying they don't belong in hip hop because I think every genre has multiple subgenres. Every genre has multiple subgenres. That's why we have what the term backpack rappers and SoundCloud rappers. Like every genre has their place, but I kind of agree with Wiz where the emo side has kind of taken over. It kind of took over the place of where the gangsters used to have. Like it to the point to where the optics is the perception is hip hop is now soft. It's a soft genre. It's not just like when gangster rap came in and took over the conscious rap and like pushed them out the way and said, "Move, we run this." But the only thing was gangster rap and their tough bravado music has been decades and decades and decades strong. Had hip hop in the chokehold, and now things have shifted. And now, you know, Bella said, "Young Dolph is my favorite 3 a.m. gangster feel." I can see that. Young Dolph, rest in peace to the GOAT. That was one of Memphis' greatest. One of Memphis' greatest. And I ride with all Memphis rappers. So even when Young Dolph and Yo Gotti was going against each other, even in their beef, when they were going against each other, I still ride with both. I did not take sides. First of all, I'm not a part of their gang life. So I'm not going to insert myself in their gang life. And Memphis is real, where fans will, Memphis, we real, where fans will kill other fans, for their favorite guys, for they do. So I just wrote the middle. I listened to both. I enjoyed both, but rest in peace, Dolph. He was one of them ones. He made the city proud. He made the city proud. I love Dolph, and I do miss him and his music. So R.I.P. to him. Let's see. J. Cole caught us straight because what he is doing on the song "Talking Big Three" on, yeah, that's true. But I guess I'm naive. I'm stupid. I don't know. I feel like he was giving Kendrick his flowers, but I guess in Kendrick's eyes, he's like, "Don't compare me to y'all. I don't want to be in the same boat as y'all. Even if you're trying to give me a compliment, I still felt offended." I think that's how Kendrick took it. Uh, let's see. Another thing is the energy delivered with each disc. Kendrick was loud and proud while Cole was weak. Yeah, Kendrick, he did say in that track he bipolar. Kendrick does give me that Kanye West energy where he could be smiling 1 minute, then he could pop off on you in the next. He does give me that energy. Let's see. We gotta mention Big Sean. Yes, yes. I love Big Sean's convo. And I hate freestyle. I said convo. I, I loved his freestyle and I loved his single that he dropped. I Precision. I just felt like it was overshadowed because it dropped the exact same day as the Metro Boomin and Future. But I that was the first thing I went to. I went to that first. As soon as I saw that Big Sean was on Spotify, I ran to that first and I loved it. I just, oh man, I hate that. And I hate that because Big Sean came out around the same time as Drake Cole and um K Dot. They came out around the same time. Them, Wale, all them, Big Crit, they all came out around the same time, which was like the beginning of my college years, my college experience. And so those guys were my college life, my college playlist. I was bumping Big Sean, I was bumping Wale, I was bumping Drake and J. Cole. Like they I grew up with these niggas in my ears. I became an adult with these niggas music in my life. I can remember my first time going to a club with all my, with my classmates and people in my dorm, and you hearing certain records, and you like certain Big Sean records and certain Wale records and certain Drake records, and like, oh my gosh, when what was J. Cole's first album? Dang, I don't want to say the wrong title. By the way, when it comes to J. Cole records, I know everybody loves For Your Eyes Only, not For Your Eyes Only, dang. They love the Forest Hill Drive at record, but for me, and I guess it's because where I was in life when it dropped, for me, Born Center is my all-time favorite J. Cole record album. Like Born Center, can't nobody tell me nothing about Born Center. Born Center was my shit. But I know a lot of people re- think Forest Hills Drive is his classic, or For Your Eyes Only is his classic. For me, Cold World, the Sideline Story. That was his very first album in 2011, and I was in college, and that was my shit. That was my record, man. Like memories, and I hate that people don't give Big Sean his flowers, because Big Sean, his whole catalog, if you go back to Big Sean's catalog, his whole catalog, Big Sean is that dude, man. And I wish he was put in the conversation more, because he can rap. He is that dude. Not only can he rap, but he can make the catchy pop songs. He can make the radio hits, but he can also just drop a freestyle like what he did a couple of weeks ago, and just show y'all bar for bar. He got that. He's that boy. He's that boy. Mhm. I get what you're saying, C. Jones. I totally get what you're saying, especially from an academic standpoint, from an artistic standpoint. I get it. It's just it was not for me. Like I said, only two songs out that entire record I will go back and listen to. Everything else I ignore. I pretend like it doesn't even exist. Mm. The black the berry is my favorite, as it talks about how the black community is hurting ourselves. Yep, yep. To Pimp a Butterfly is a Hall of Fame worthy album. It came at the right time. Yeah, I will agree. It did come at the right time. It dropped at the right time. And what he said, I'm not saying his lyrics were bad. I'm not saying he wasn't talking about important things. It's just sonically, only two songs were re-listenable for me. For me. Yes, sometimes it's deeper than music. Yep, y'all right. Y'all right. Mama's broke your heart, Miranda Lambert. Woo, woo. One day we're gonna have an episode where we talk about how gangster country artists are, like how violent they are. Like y'all know how some of these rappers have gone to court over their lyrics. Like people, like judges and jury, actually wasted taxpayers' money to see if a rapper really lived their lyrics. I want them to do that for country artists, because some of these lyrics, I feel like some of these country artists really did commit murder once and got away with it. I really do think some of these ex-wives or ex-girlfriends of these artists that we probably never heard of, never seen, it's probably because they gone. They no longer exist. If we gonna judge people by their lyrics and what they write, don't look at hip hop. Look at the other side. Look at the other side. Hip hop was created on competition. The battle sparred the whole genre. Yep. Honestly, yep. You're right. You're right. Yep, Eminem started that way. Yep, battle rap. Yes, that's a whole subculture of hip hop. Like there are still battle rappers to this day that are still doing events. Like people are still like, and people are paying for it. Like I forgot what was that website or that app before TikTok and everything, there was this particular app where Jake Paul and them, their fights used to be on back in the day before they started making these big deals. Their first, exhibition fights with all these YouTubers. There was an app where they actually brought in battle rappers to have battle rap competitions, and people would pay money on that app to watch these battle. Like, it's still going on to this day. I wish I could think of the name of that app, but it's still going on to this day. Like, battle rapping, sparring, lyrics. It's still going on. It has not died. Just because we don't see it on like the radio and stuff, or you know, RIP to MTV and VH1, because all they do is reality shows now. You used to watch that stuff on TV. I used to love um the hip hop awards, the BT hip hop awards, where they had the ciphers, where they would put, certain rappers together in a room, and they just freestyle, just go at it with lyrics. And they could be throwing shots at the person in the same room with them, or they could be throwing shots at someone who's not in the room with them. But that's been hip hop. It's always said, if he said did what J. Cole did, that would be funny as hell. It would be. I think some people's heads would explode. I think certain people, their heads would discombobulate like Wiz. I die. Eminem is my inspiration as the number one hater. Y'all are stupid. Man, what? He beefed with his mama. Eminem didn't care. Eminem would, when he first came out, Slim Shady, he beefed with a bus driver. He would be with a bus driver. Thank God there were no Lyft and Ubers. He would beef with the Uber drivers. Eminem did not care. He came out, I'm beefing with everybody. I'll beef with your grandma, my grandma, everybody, grandma. Everybody catch these hands. Side note, I go downstairs and my mom got Fantasia bumping. Oh Lord. I hope your mom not sad. I hope she's not going through it, because blasting R&B early in the morning while cleaning. You either sad or you try to escape some. Shout out to Mon Dukes for listening to Fantasia though. She got great taste in music, I must say. Yep. Rappers are our gladiators. So it is kind, even for me. I'm not big on gangster, let's fight, let's get violent. That's just not my energy. But even I am a little disappointed in J. Cole in that. Prophecy. Sia wrote for a lot of Rihanna songs. Yeah, Rihanna's more popular. Yep. But here's the thing, Prophecy, and I agree with you. I agree 100%. I'm not about to argue or debate you. Um, but hip hop rappers, they've always had this big reputation of, if I'm a rapper, I'm writing my lyrics, whether they were good, whether they're amazing, it did not matter. If they wrote their rhymes, like I remember when Jay-Z and Lil Wayne would just be out in interviews bragging about, oh, I just go in the studio. I don't write nothing down on pen and paper. I just go in the studio and just say the first thing that come to my mind. I just go off the dome. That was something that was bragging rights worthy if you were a rapper. Whereas singers, it's been since the dawn of time, since Elvis stealing music from black artists, since you know, back in the 70s and 60s and 50s, there's singers have always had songwriters. They've always had backup writers. Um, what's the woman who she sang, "It's raining man, hallelujah, it's raining man." Before she came out as an artist, she was a ghostwriter, considered quote unquote a ghostwriter for a lot of these young girls. Or they would have her sing her record, but then in the music videos, they would hire a model to lip sing her stuff, because the record label didn't think a big fat black woman would be good for television. Like, songwriters, ghostwriters have always been okay and welcomed and praised in pop, anything that got to do with singing. But as far as rapping, lyrical, miracle, spiritual, Eminem stuff, The rapper was expected to write every line, word for word, bar for bar, line for line, even the chorus, even if they had a R&B singer singing it. People in their minds thought the rapper wrote the entire song, and that's always been the thing. Ghostwriting is a big part of hip hop, collaboration writing, all very true. Yeah, yeah. It's just singers get more leeway as long as you got the vocals. Singers get more leeway, and Sia Bohr and I love Sia's solo records that she came out with. I enjoy her music, but then again, I'm an emo black kid, so when I listen to her music, and I love her voice, when I listen to her music and her song lyrics, I'm like, yeah, I feel very suicidal today. Sorry. Sean, what it do? Yo Yo Reptiles. What up, Sean? Love watching your growth and your evolution in the reptile game. You really killing it with the shop and everything. Thank you for tapping in this morning. But yeah, yeah, which is oh my gosh, I'm glad prophecy brought this up because nowadays people are, and again, I'm not in the beehive. I can admit when Beyonce give us whack stuff, and I can admit that Beyonce can't act to save her life. But I hate the knock that people give her saying she has 4 or 5 writers on a song or whatever. Or I hate when people are comparing her to Taylor Swift, like, oh, Taylor Swift writes all her lyrics, yada yada yada. Yeah, and Taylor Swift has wrote some very cringe-worthy lyrics before. So maybe Taylor Swift do need some collaborators or some helpers. Cause what was that album Reputation? It's some very cringe-worthy, horrible songs on that album. And yeah, maybe Taylor Swift do need a little help, but I hate that people try to use that as a knock against Beyonce. Oh, she had 5 writers on Alien Superstar. And Alien Superstar is a hit. Alien Superstar is amazing. Alien Superstar has been on all your TikToks. So clearly it's like, but they don't say that about Rihanna. They don't say that about Mariah Carey. They don't say that about Whitney Houston. They don't say that about Celine Dion. Celine Dion has more songwriters than Beyonce at her disposal. And she's the GOAT. She's the queen. So if we're gonna go who writes their lyrics versus who writes their lyrics, don't try to c- compare Taylor Swift to Beyonce. If anything, if we're gonna go with songwriter, singer, Taylor Swift versus Gaga, and everybody knows that Gaga will wipe Taylor Swift with a dirty dish rag because she can sing, she can dance, and she writes her music. Like I prophecy brought me back to that point when he said that about Sia writing for Rihanna. It's like a lot of these girls, a lot of these legends or living legends or queens or kings in the music industry have writers. Neo, Neo, as amazing R&B artist as he was, most of his greatest hits that he's still getting checks are from what he wrote for other artists. Like he is still ghostwriting to this day, and he would drop an album out of him singing because he's that dude. So shout out to all the ghostwriters in front of the camera, behind the camera, whatever. Shout out to all the ghostwriters, even the hip hop ghostwriters. Shout out to them. Yep, Drake is in a different realm nowadays. He's global now. Can't knock it. Cannot knock it. I'm so behind in the chat. I'm sorry. Yes, KG did come in hot, just like he did last night on Hair Down. KG be out for blood. Matter of fact, KG needs to respond to Kendrick for J. Cole and Drake, because KG, when he get to going, he get to send us out. You can say in your opinion Kendrick is a better rapper and say he's the best artist, but definitely got to check the numbers. Yep, yep. And I'm not saying Kendrick never made a classic. I'm not saying he never made a hit, but yeah, unfortunately, if we're going by numbers, Drake is that dude, whether we all agree or not, by the numbers. What up, Maki? I know you at work. It's all good. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you. Thank you. Let me skip down a little bit because I'm so behind the chat. I feel like Billy from Mutations Creation, where he's like 45, 50 minutes behind schedule. Let's see. Tommy said when Wiz Khalifa and Big Sean came out, I went to their concerts. I was becoming an adult. Well, big part. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Wiz Khalifa. Man, his old stuff. I still go back and listen to this day. I still love it. And say yeah. And say yeah. On nine to town. My niggas round. Oh my gosh. I think I was living in Florida working at Disney when that song dropped. Man, that was the soundtrack of my life. Oh my gosh. Wiz Khalifa, all them folks. Big Sean. You just you know what they say, you just had to be there. You just had to be there. What up, Nameless? Q, what up? Good morning. The Bear, what up? What up, the Bear? Thank you for tapping in. Here come Wiz with his old man. I grew up listening to Bone Woo, yeah, Cypress Hill, Meth and Red, yeah, and your personality shows. I definitely get Method Man, Red Man vibes. Pothead music, crazy back in the yeah, yes, that's Wiz. That's Wiz's era. I had to LimeWire all the yep. Who remember? Shout out to LimeWire and all the other websites we used to bootleg music. Now there are, I'm not going to say it here on the live the names of it, but there are some websites to where you could go on YouTube and convert the YouTube videos to MP3 files. That's my LimeWire. And I'm not going to tell y'all what websites they are because I don't want them to get shut down. But converting YouTube videos to MP3s, the best invention ever made. I love it. Shout out to all the bootleggers in the world. Oh, let's see. See. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Because M was high on pills the first half of his career. A lot of these rappers were. Prophecy said, "What are your thoughts on UK drill versus US drill?" I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Prophecy. I'm not a big fan of drill music in general. Just their style, their cadence, um, their flows. I'm not a big fan, so I don't listen too much. But I will say there is one drill rapper from the UK I love. Um, and I think he like dated Adele for a brief moment after her divorce. But he's been popping off real. I think it's Swayze or something like that. It started with an S, but he's been featured on a lot of, he's been featured with ASAP Rocky and stuff. He's been featured on a lot of rap songs lately, and I do like him. I do like him. I wish I knew his name, but yeah, I'm not a big drill music person. Drill rap. But yeah, I think yeah, I kind of agree with you. UK drill does hit better. Yeah, yeah. Is Nipsey drill? I don't think Nipsey is drill. Nipsey never came off as drill to me. Nipsey, rest in peace. He came off as kind of like the old school. Like he talked some gangster stuff, but maybe it's the California vibe. It's just he never came off as drill to me. It's Pop Smoke, yes, Pop Smoke definitely, but not Nipsey. I never got that vibe from him, and that's probably why he was so digestible. That's probably why Nipsey was so digestible, and like everybody loved him even before he passed. They loved his music because the way he rapped, his songwriting ability, his cadence, his style, the beats, it was global. It could, if Nipsey was still alive, he could have crossed over just like a Drake, or he wouldn't be so niche. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he was gone too soon. Because had he still been alive and still going, like he would have, Nipsey would have been like crossing over like the Jay-Z's and the Eminems and stuff. That's how good his music was. But Pop Smoke was definitely drill, and I think I've liked like maybe two Pop Smoke songs that he's ever created in his catalog. And don't ask me which songs they were because I cannot remember to save your life. That's how much I don't listen to drill at all. Um, but that was it. That's all I want to talk about music wise, because it's just been the topic for the last 2 or 3 weeks with the whole big three conversation and J. Cole versus Kendrick versus Drake. And I just wanted to share my thoughts because we didn't get to tap into it really last week. But the second part of this episode, I wanted to talk more reptile related and business related because last week I did the Memphis Tattoo Festival, and I must say that that was an experience. That was a vibe to be in a room at a convention center with a bunch of tattoo artists and tattoo enthusiasts. Like there are people who they don't spend their money on cars, they don't spend their money on bikes, they don't spend their money on guns. They passionately spend their money collecting tattoos. They would travel the world specifically to get a tattoo. And I met some of those people and it was so dope. It was so amazing. It was a fun time. And I did create business relationships and opportunities with the show promoters. And they do want me to come back next week only. I mean, not next week, next year only. I will come back as a vendor. I will have a photo booth set up with my snakes, with like Jimmy, my boa constrictor, and some of the ball pythons that I trust around people. And, we'll just charge people what, $5, maybe 10 max, of people taking pictures with a very professional, nice backdrop and everything with the snakes. Um, I'm looking into I'm looking into maybe having an upgrade option, like $5 you take a picture with the snake, with your phone or with my iPad photo booth setup. And it'll be sent to you to your phone. The photo will be sent to your phone, kind of like what they do at like pride festivals and stuff like that. Or for an upgrade, let's say $10, $15, you can still get a picture with your phone holding the snake with the backdrop, but I actually will print a picture out that you could take home, a tangible photo, like having a photo printer that takes the picture on the iPad and wirelessly remote to the printer and print come out and you get the picture. You know what I'm saying? Right there to take home. Just something fun for people to experience because there was a lot of kids at Tattoo Expo, a lot of kids to the point to where there was a young girl. She had her own booth. She had her own spot where she was giving kids full sleeves of temporary fake tattoos and hennas and stuff. Like I got a henna on my hand because I love the aesthetic of hand tattoos, but I am afraid of getting a real hand tattoo because of the pain. I don't think I have the pain tolerance. So I got a henna, which is temporary. It'll disappear like by next week or whatever. But it was a girl who was making a killing. I think she made more money than some of the real tattoo artists, giving these young children and these teenagers full sleeves while their parents are in the booth right next to them getting a real ink on their bodies and stuff like that. And then they had different competitions like the best color, the best black and gray, the best small tattoo, the best big tattoo, the tattoo of the day. And I took photos of all that and it was so amazing. The people loved me. It was a great vibe. And I felt so freaking motivated to this is the topic that I really want to talk about. I felt really motivated and very happy that it is so okay to be different. It is so okay to go against the grain, especially in this reptile hobby. I'm not knocking reptile shows. Like look, I'm not in Dallas right now, but I'm rocking NARBC St. Louis shirt that I got last year, or year before last. Because I love reptile shows. I love reptile shows. I love going there. Y'all remember my first Tinley. I went crazy my first Tinley. And y'all know, we're going to Daytona this year. Like I love reptile shows. So I'm not knocking or dissing reptile shows, but I will say in this market, in this game, in this hobby, the reptile community has to step outside of reptiles. Like I'm not saying negate it, neglect it, don't be a part of it. I'm not saying that, but we have to think outside the box, y'all. And it's okay if your goal, if you're a new breeder, if you're new to this ball python game, if you're new to the reptile game, geckos, lychees, all this stuff, the colubrids. It's okay if your big dream is, oh, one day I want to vend Tinley, or one day I want to vend Daytona, or one day I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to be the next XYZ. I want to be the next, oh, Canova. Oh my gosh. That hurt my throat just saying that. But, you know, it's okay to have those dreams, chase those dreams. But it's also okay to step outside the box and be different. It's okay to add a little different flair. Like, um, I know I told shenanigans and I told people in the Wiz Tang clan chat that I got accepted and I'm vending the Memphis Monster Con, the reptile, I mean, not the monster horror film convention that's happening in Memphis this fall. And there's a bunch of legendary, actors and actresses coming that they announced that's going to be at this convention. And I'm super excited because I'm going to have a photo booth set up with my snakes. So while the nerds, the comic book nerds, the horror film nerds, the geeks, they're going out trying to meet the actor who played one of the, because there's been a lot of them, but one of the actors who played Jason Voorhees, and they're also meeting the guy who played Leatherface in the recent film, and they're meeting the woman, Felicity Rose. I love her, who was in a bunch of like B horror films. She's amazing. The Sleepaway Camp series. I love her. She's going to be there, and I might have to pay that $60 for that meet and greet. I'm not gonna lie, because I love me some Felicity Rose. But they're meeting all these different horror icons, and then here I am, got a booth set up where they get to take a picture with Jimmy, or they get to take a picture with Jafar, and have these cool pictures with their cosplay outfits. Imagine someone in a Jason Voorhees cosplay holding a boa constrictor. You know what I'm saying? Or the actor himself, the guy himself, holding a boa or a ball python. Like, I can't wait. It just feels good to step outside the box and do something different than just let me vend my crested geckos and my ball pythons at NNARBC show. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not knocking those shows. I love those shows, but I'm just saying, when it comes to these reptiles, these animals, if you want to sell your animals, if you want to introduce new people in the hobby, bring more people in the hobby who are not in the hobby, or people like me, because I was a pet keeper before I became a breeder, and I'm not these COVID breeders who got in because they saw a quick get rich quick scheme. I was in the reptile hobby since 2016, for years before I knew that this community that I'm a part of now existed. I didn't know any of y'all existed prior to I would say, when Nicole was my very first person to interview me on her channel, her YouTube channel, Reptiles and Cocktails. Prior to that, I did not know this whole realm of reptile culture existed. Yes, we had the Repticons that came every year, but I thought it was just like a normal flea market trade shows with reptiles. I didn't know there was a whole culture behind it. And there are a lot of people who might have a pet crested gecko or ball python or leopard gecko they got from PetSmart, but they don't know about the community. So we should, because I met a lot of people who told me that they have a pet corn snake or a pet ball python at the tattoo convention. Like, they exist. They just don't know about, the hair down. They don't know nothing about the Hair Down Fridays. They don't know nothing about Trap Talk podcast and network. They don't know nothing about the Wiz Tank clan, nothing about the V unit. They don't know this whole internet world that's a part of the reptile community. They just know that they went to PetSmart or Petco, found a pet snake or a lizard, thought it was cute, took it home, set up in the tank, and they just living blissfully happily ever after. But if we want to get more people in, if we want to lure more people in and bring more people in the hobby, we have to go outside the hobby. That's one thing I kind of, as much as I hate religion and cults, that's one thing I can agree with the religion and cults, and I have to give them their flowers. Cults and religious groups, they know, like, what's the people who be knocking at your door, Jehovah's Witnesses. They know to step outside their comfort zone, step outside their four walls, leave the church house, and go out in the streets to advertise and bring people in. That's what the reptile community has to do. Y'all can't sit here, whine, bitch, complain, moan, and cry about the market, complain about, oh, the price of DG clowns have went down, oh, the this is going down, oh, we haven't moved snakes in so long, now we have the maintenance fee because we don't have enough space for 150 adult ball pythons, and these babies are growing up fast, so let's slow down feeding them and all this other BS that y'all been doing. You're not going to get more customers. One, if you continue to only breed for other breeders, and two, if you don't bring new people in. What does KG always say, and what does Will from Flawless always say on their podcast, and other people? It's our job and it's our duty. And Antoine, they've all preached and said the same thing on various podcasts. It's our duty as a community. Each person should bring in at least 5 more people into the hobby. And I feel like I did that during the tattoo convention. I feel like I brought more people in. I've introduced more people who did not know about this community and know about these snakes. And like one woman held my snake, and the first thing she said was, "Oh, I really want a snake, but I bet it's so hard to take care of them." And I debunked all that statement so fast in a friendly, nice way. I debunked that and gave her all the information that I could possibly give her in that 10, 15-minute conversation. And she had more confidence in, oh, well, maybe I can have a pet snake. Maybe I could own a ball python or a boa constrictor or whatever. It's not as hard or as bad as I thought it would be because I gave her the information, because I put myself out there. Had we not met that day at the tattoo convention, she probably would have continued to live her life saying, I wish I had this pet, but it's probably going to be hard. She thought taking care of a snake would be harder than take care of a cat or a dog. Like she thought if I had a pet snake, I could never like travel to other cities for a weekend to tattoo people. To me, a pet snake is the best. You don't need a babysitter. If you're just gone for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to a tattoo convention, and you know you're gonna be back Monday or Tuesday, your snake will be perfectly fine without you there for that weekend. It's not gonna die. Certain geckos, same thing. You make sure you leave food, and you got like a mister system to make sure they don't get dehydrated. Trust me, you could be gone for a weekend and come back home, and your animal is a-okay. Whereas a cat and dog, you got to take it to a kennel or ask a friend to watch them or get a house sitter. Like, but she did not know that. She did not know. She was under the assumption having a pet snake would be the hardest thing in the world. And in that 15-minute conversation at that tattoo, at her booth, because she's a tattoo artist, I debunked all that and gave her the confidence. Now she's probably gone back home and now researching, how to get a pet snake, how to set up for a pet snake and stuff like that. So the point I'm making is, yes, vending Tinley should be on your bucket list. Vending Daytona should be on your bucket list. Setting up your Morph Market account definitely should be up there with something to do. But in order to add more people and more newbies into the hobby, we have to go to them. We cannot sit around and expect them to come to us because they don't know we exist. They do not know we exist. Do you know how many people are continuing to buy reptiles at Petco and PetSmart because they don't know any other option? We know Morph Market exists, but they don't. Morph Market is not Walmart. Morph Market is not Amazon. Morph Market is not BestBuy.com, Target. Morph Market is not Temu. Y'all know how every YouTube video you watch, you get at least 5 Temu commercials within that one YouTube video? Morph Market is not that. We can't sit around and expect the new people to come to us. We have to go to them. So I'm going to continue to do my own thing, do my own path, walk my own lane, and bring people in my way. I'm going to bring people in with the podcast, Snake Simmer Podcast. I'm going to bring people in with the photo shoots and the music videos because that's where my business is. I haven't made a dime off breeding yet. Even granted, I only had one clutch with 3 eggs in their holdbacks, but I have not made a dime off breeding. But I'm constantly getting booked for snakes for these photo shoots and these music videos and these school visits. Just next week, I'm going to Nashville and getting a $600 check to go speak to elementary students with my snakes and educate them. We have to go to them. We have to do more work, and we have to think outside the box and be different in order to get those customers, those future customers, those future hobbyists, even those future breeders. They might not be a breeder tomorrow. You might meet someone, introduce them to the reptile community. They might not, they might want to be a pet keeper for life, just strictly a pet keeper. But they can still be your customer for life. Because guess what? They might get their first ever ball python, a banana nanny from Bosa. But then they get into the community and Bosa introduced them to Tommy. Now they like, oh, I love my ball python, but I want something else as a pet. Now they're going to Tommy for some geckos. They're going to get their very first crested gecko. Then they might go deeper in the hobby, meet other people in the hobby. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what is this white lace? I might like, I think my ball python needs a friend. But let me get a white lace from Wiz. And then they might go years with just a 2 ball pythons, one from Bosa, one from Wiz, and their crested gecko they got from Tommy. And they're living 4, 5, 6 years with their 3 favorite pet reptiles. And then all of a sudden, I love my ball pythons. I love my geckos, but I want something different. Then all of a sudden they talk to Wiz or they talk to Bosa and they get introduced to Rock. And now they want their first boa constrictor. You see where I'm going with this? Like, don't just breed for breeders. Think about those pet keepers, because pet keepers, have y'all not watched these YouTube videos? My 25 reptiles, my reptile collection. These are people who are not breeding at all. They are strictly pet keepers. They got their bioactive enclosures, but they got about 23 different species, all in a whole, taking over an entire basement of just pets that they love, that they care for, that they are passionate about. Because they were first introduced to one person in the hobby. And now they got multiple species. And then after they get their boa, they got their ball pythons, their crested geckos, their boa. They love it. They're having a great time. Now I want some a little spicy, or maybe I want some a little bit more advanced. And then Bosa or Wiz introduced them to Joey D. And they get into their colubrid corruption. Or like, oh, I see y'all in the chats. Oh, look at Tommy. They got their crested gecko, but they want to update their crested gecko from Tommy. And then Tommy introduced them to the bioactive world, the bioactive game. And now they collecting isopods. Let me get their Dalmatian isopod. Let me get that. Let me get that. Now they got a whole tank of isopods with their crested gecko. Like, you see where I'm going? But they would never met us. They would never got in this hobby. They would have never got a part of this big culture of the reptile hobby and gotten all these cool animals from all these different breeders in the hobby had they not met someone like me at a tattoo convention or at a horror film convention or a comic book convention or a school. Someone like me coming to visit their school for career day and I show them a boa constrictor. We have to go to them. We have to think different. We can't just solely rely on Morph Market and NARBC. We have to go to them. We cannot sit and wait for the customers, the new people, the new hobbyists, the new breeders to come to us. That will make you stand out. That will bring more customers to your business. That will bring more people into the hobby. That will bring more people into the community. just like this summer. This summer, I always take Jimmy out to the park here in Memphis. It's called Shelby Farm. So we just hang out and people come and have a conversation with me. And they'll meet Jimmy. They get to pet him. Oh, this big boa constrictor just sitting at the park, you know. Well, guess what? During the summertime in Memphis, that park has a lot of events. They might have a 5K run for St. Jude. They have this big air balloon festival where people go and get in air balloons. They have different air balloons and they lift them up in the air. You get to see, and then they bring back down. Big air balloon festival. All these different amazing events. You don't think me and Jimmy gonna be out there at the air balloon festival? You don't think me and Jimmy gonna be out there not the winter, not the one in December, but the one in the summer in September? You don't think me and Jimmy gonna be out there at the St. Jude 5K run, cheering on the St. Jude runners? Think, think outside the box, y'all. It's okay to be different. It's okay to stop doing the cookie cutter norm thing and expecting to be a successful person. People are always saying, "Oh, you'll never catch up with the big dogs. You'll never catch up with Canova. You'll never catch up with Ozzy. You'll never catch up with Miguel." People love saying stuff like that. Well, first of all, stop listening to those people. And even if they're true, even if there's what they're saying is facts, which I don't agree, but even if what they're saying is facts, because before there was a Canova and Ozzy and a Miguel, there was a Kevin McCurley, a Brian Broadcheck, and a Mike Wilbanks. Like there have been legends on top of legends on top of legends. So, there's been generations of legends. So, but even if that's true, that does not mean you can't be successful in your reptile business. That does not mean you cannot create or cultivate a community. That does not mean you can't make a positive, amazing impact on the reptile hobby and still make money off this hobby and money off these animals. You can do it. You just got to step outside the box. You just got to stop depending on your customers to come to you. You have to go to them. You have to be creative with it. You got to be different with it. And that's what I plan on doing. That's why I've been did it and I'm going to stay doing it. When I'm at the horror convention, I'm going to have, y'all know those reptile displays that be at all I like the one Wiz got. I think he got it from Animal Plastic. I like that one where you got your logo name and the LED lights. I'm going to have my first clutch there. And while people are taking pictures with coils or Mr. Gold, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this snake is so beautiful. This snake is amazing. I love it." Look what they just created. I'm going to have them set up on the table with my merchandise. Of course, it's going to be not for sale because I'm not selling my first clutch, but I'm just going to have them on display. While people are taking pictures at the photo booth, they can see this is the mom. You're holding the mom right now, taking a picture with her, with our beautiful backdrop. But on that table, right by the Creative Reptiles t-shirt, those are her babies. She did that. She made that. And I'm going to show them what the possibilities are. Like you can have a pet snake like this. You can have a dope animal like this. Not these particular, but you can have one like that. And I can connect you with some people who got that. You don't think I'm going to plug Mutation Station? My mentors? Matter of fact, they said they're going to help me at my booth with the photo booth. You don't think we not going to network and pimp out their animals too? Like, yeah, these babies aren't for sale, but these 3 babies on this table that I have on display, they're not for sale. But if you want one, this lady right here, Nikki, her husband Jason, they breed snakes, and they were the ones who gave me the father for these 3 babies. You see how we do? You see how you can add more people in by going a different path and doing something different? That's just my 2 cents. It wasn't even a rant. I hope this was more of a motivational speech for y'all. Because I know sometimes looking at the morph market numbers, looking at how many ball pythons in the market, it can get discouraging hearing people constantly say, "Oh, you'll never catch up to Ozzy. You'll never catch up to Miguel. You'll never catch up to Justin." You hear all that in the stupid group chats and stuff like that. And on different podcasts, you hear so many people say that. First of all, it's okay to not be like them. It's okay to not go the same path as them. I'm sorry. All due respect to y'all king. He's not my king. All due respect to y'all king. But Justin's collection was funded by his whole business was funded by his uncle. I don't have that luxury. Some of you don't have that luxury. Some of us, we had our 9 to 5 jobs that we're working now, and we had to buy snakes little by little, payment plans, let me pay you this paycheck and then I'll pay you again next paycheck. We didn't have uncles just dropping cash on snakes for us. Some of us, and no knock to Miguel, because I love Miguel, always evolve. I love him. No knock to Miguel, but Miguel has always been a businessman before the reptiles. So when he got in, he was able to buy the right animals, the right genes, the high end stuff early on in his career because he was, what was he in construction? He was either in construction or real estate, but he was already making big money before he got into the snakes. So he had his career in construction. I believe it was with him and his brother. He had his career and his money in construction that he could throw at a sunset, that he could throw at XYZ jeans. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us in this hobby don't have that luxury. A lot of us are really grinding this out old school way, buying a bunch of hits because we can't afford the visuals. But that does not mean we can't get to their level. They can still be a part of that Mount Rushmore. They can still be a part of that, you know, bucket list stream and motivation for us. But we can still go our own path and be different. We can still be different. They don't have to. I'm sorry. Brian Barczyk is a legend to me. Kevin McCurley is a legend to me. I put them over Justin all day, every day. And if he could succeed their cap, because I bet before Justin came along, before Miguel came along, before Ozzy came along, people were like, oh, you will never catch up with Brian Barczyk. You will never catch up with Kevin McCurley. You will never catch up with Mike Wilbanks. You'll never catch up with Marcus Jane. You will never reach that height. Well, he did. They did. They went above. And guess what? The new generation, I believe in my heart, the new generation, they're going to go above them. Someone will outdo Justin one day. It might take a couple of years. It might take 10 years, 15 years. Okay. But I don't think he's the cap. I'm sorry. And we can agree and disagree. That's all cool. But I don't think he's the cap. I have faith in the younger generation. I have faith in the new school. I have faith in the current generation. I have faith that somebody's going to come and supersede because the sky's the limit. We should not limit ourselves. But we limit ourselves if we only rely on Morph Market and we only rely on the reptile shows. We limit ourselves when we don't try to think outside the box and be creative. We limit ourselves when we only try to sell or appeal to one market and not all the different markets. We keep limiting ourselves. And I don't want to be a part of the woe is me, the I'll never make it, I'll never be this big. No, I refuse. I refuse. My hero isn't Justin. My hero isn't Miguel. My hero isn't Ozzy. You know who my hero is besides Brian Barczyk? My hero is Claudius, the snake father. Some of y'all don't know who that is. A lot of y'all do, but some of y'all don't know who that is. His snakes have been on so many music videos. His snakes have been in movies. His snakes have been on Hollywood stages and sound stages. He's been hired with his retics and his boas for a lot of things. He's my hero, especially in this photography, reptile rental business. He's my hero. He's who I strive to be. He's the person I study to become greater. I want to do what he do, but more. And he's the person, if I go to one of these reptile shows, if I run into, I might bust a tear. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I might bust a tear. That's my hero. Shout out to Claudius. Like his snakes have been in magazines. And not just the local small mom and pop published magazines, but like the GQs and stuff. Like his snakes have been there. And he breeds. He also breeds retics. But guess what? How does he get the customers for those retics? How does he get the customers for those ball pythons? He doesn't advertise on Morph Market. I don't even think he has a Morph Market page because I looked for it. He advertised on Instagram. He just posts a photo of his snake on eggs, and he'll go to like the reptile super shows in California, and he sells the snakes. But you know how he's able to sell those snakes? Because he's outside of the market. He is in those streets. His snakes are performing with Bollywood dancers and belly dancers in clubs at night. He's getting customers outside of the reptile hobby. He's not in these little group chats with us. He's not in these Patreons. He's not doing that. He's stepping outside the box. He's thinking outside the box, and his animals are doing more for him with photography and music videos and film productions and TV shows. He's been in TV shows and stuff like that. He's done all that stuff. He doesn't need a Morph Market page. He just posts on his Instagram or posts on his Facebook. His retic on eggs. He'll go to the reptile super shows. In those shows in California, and his stuff sells. And if you want to know more about him, look up his interview with Lady Tia's Reptiles and Cocktails. She interviewed him. And I think JP also interviewed him. I just cannot remember. I have to go back through JP's YouTube channel. But he's done a couple of interviews here or there. He's been interviewed a couple of times in the reptile hobby. Look up Claudius, Snake Father, and see the blueprint that he set for himself, the path he set for himself. And I bet you he made just as much, if not more money than Canova. I don't know his pockets. I'm not pocket watching. But I bet you he's up there as far as money making. His snakes are in Hollywood movies. You see in the theaters. You don't even know it's his. You might watch a Fast and Furious 25. And The Rock and his car is in a pit of snakes. Or they might be in the jungle somewhere racing cars, and you see a boa on a tree or a retic on a tree. And as unrealistic as that is on Hollywood, 9 times out of 10, that's a Claudia snake. You'll probably never know it, but that's a Claudia snake. I'm just saying. Think outside the box. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit your thinking. Don't limit your worth. And don't limit these snakes. And I've been watching y'all comments. Thank y'all for tapping in, Ken. I know you were late coming in, but thank you, brother, for tapping in. My cousin, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay positive. Be kind to each other. One community, one fam. Exactly. Bosa. Exactly, Ken. Bosa said, I want to catch up to Bosa, that ball mother. I can't stand you, Bosa. You're a fool. You are a fool. Yes, I want to be the best me that I can be. Facts, Ken. Facts. Yes, thank you, Banner. Thank you, everybody. So that was my recap of the Memphis Tattoo Festival. I'm going to continue to do shows like that and events like that. I'm not saying I'll never apply for an NARBC in the future. I'm not saying I'll never apply for a Repticon or Show Me Snakes. I'm not saying that. I'm not knocking that. I love reptile shows, but I want to go beyond that. So I'm going to continue to put myself out there beyond that. I'm going to continue to put myself out there at these comic book conventions. Tomorrow, I got invited. There's a fashion show happening here in Memphis, a local fashion show, and the show promoter, I've been real cool with him for the past couple of years. He just said, bring my camera. I could get in for free without paying. Take pictures. You best believe Jafar or Jasmine is going to be around my neck. And you best believe I'm going to be taking pictures of the fashion show, and the snakes are going to be there too. You are like, and I do it every time. Every year, I would just walk in with Jafar around my neck to certain events that I know if people will allow a cat or dog in some of these events, Jafar's with me. And then people are like, oh my gosh, that a snake? Let me take a picture, yada, yada, yada. And there have been times where I've done it without no expectations of making money, without no expectations of getting paid. And I'm be in the middle of sharing, educating people on these reptiles. One time I took Jimmy to the park. A bunch of kids wanted to hold and play with him. I sat there for 10 minutes educating them about Jimmy. They're holding, they're touching, and the father walks up and slipped a $20 in my pocket. Walked up and slipped $20 in my pocket and said, thank you. No expectations. I just took Jimmy to the park to have fun. Give him some sunlight, let him climb a few trees, let him go in the field, touch grass, as the hippies say, go out and touch grass. And I walked down with $20 in my pocket just for taking the time to educate people. Go your own path, do your own thing, but step outside of Morph Market and the reptile shows. And that's my spiel. That's all I gotta say. I love y'all. Please tap into Wiz's channel tonight for Sophisticated Ignorance. Yep, Tommy said you definitely got to put yourself out there so people will know. Yes, yes, facts. That's the whole point of my rant. Facts. But shout out to everybody. Thank y'all for tapping in. I really do appreciate y'all. If you're a part of the replay gang, tap in. Please like, comment, subscribe. Whether it was about the hip hop conversation that I did earlier or this conversation, please share your comments, share your thoughts. Whether you agree with me, disagree, I'm all in. Just get some engagement on this video. But thank but and I know certain people are vending this weekend. Certain people in the hobby are vending down in Dallas and other shows going on this weekend. I know Lady Tiz and her husband Slim are vending at Schaumburg or Hamburg. Can I remember? Charge it to my head, not my heart. But they're vending this weekend. Good luck to y'all. I love y'all. And please, tonight, watch Sophisticated Ignorance, where We Is Row, hosted by We Is and RO. And of course, members of the Tang clan will be in the building. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all tonight. Hamburg show is this weekend. Thank you, kids. So it's Hamburg that Lady T is vending. Thank y'all. But yeah, and I know it's a lot of podcasts. Certain people have a podcast every night of the week. I get it. That's why I don't get offended if y'all miss my show early in the morning, because I'll be up till like 5 a.m. on other shows. But please go back and be a part of the replay gang. Let's grow these podcasts. I don't always catch the lives. I don't always catch the RWO. I don't always catch Celtic or people, as they are airing live. But I always wake up the next morning and just hit play, and I'll listen with my earphones in. And I love all the conversations that everybody's having. So let's support each other. Let's like, comment, and subscribe to everybody's channels, everybody podcast. Always go back and listen. I know Joey D is on Sundays, and usually Sundays is my days where doing my I'm doing my planning for the week because I teach. So I'm doing my lesson plans. I'm printing off work for the whole week and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm not in the chats talking to y'all, but I am listening. So let's support each other. I'll see y'all tonight on Wiz's channel. I may not stay up late, but I will at least be participating the first hour. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Oh, thank you. Thank y'all for the love. Thank you, Wiz. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Every time I get a compliment for you on my podcast, it does something to me, because I love that the people that I look up to love my work. It's like when you get a compliment for someone you look up to and you consider a big brother or a mentor. When you get compliments like that, it just does something to my little thug heart. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, Wiz. Thank you for always giving me my flowers, and I always give you your flowers. And I'm not gonna lie, Wiz, I think we have a great dynamic. Like, I love coming up here early in the morning, giving my thoughts and share my thoughts on music and movies and things like that. And then on the same day, the same night, you come in and bring the ignorant part of it. Like we could talk about horror films and our favorite, black films and movies and stuff like that on your show too. But we can act a little silly, like a little ignorant. Where on this one, I'm kind of trying to be a little bit more a professional critic, as you will. But I can let my hair down, no pun intended, on your show, and we can talk that's that stupid stuff with the films and movies. So I love our little dynamic where I'm the professional critic by day and the ghetto barbershop. Let's talk about these movies like real people at night. And then, of course, RWO fam, I love y'all. Tommy, thank you for tapping in. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tonight. Peace. This has been another episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. We will talk about movies next week. I promise. I'm going to see one of those films. I think the first Omen. I might see that this weekend. Either way, we'll be talking about films next week. I love y'all. Peace.